I never thought I'd be the type of person to end up in this situation. You know how you watch those crime documentaries and think, how did they not see the red flags? Well, I'm here to tell you that when you're living it, those red flags look more like rose-colored glasses. My name is Jake, and this is the story of how my life became a living nightmare and how I almost lost everything that mattered to me. It started 3 years ago, on a warm September evening in Chicago. I was 28, working as a software engineer at a decent tech company, living my best life, or so I thought. My buddy Marcus had dragged me to this art gallery opening in Wicker Park. I wasn't much into art, but Marcus insisted that I needed to get out more and stop being a hermit. Looking back now, I wish I'd stayed home that night. That's where I met Vanessa. She was standing in front of an abstract painting, her long dark hair cascading down her back, wearing a red dress that somehow made her stand out in a room full of people trying to stand out. When she turned around and our eyes met, I felt that cliché electricity that you read about in romance novels. Her eyes were an unusual shade of green, almost emerald, and when she smiled at me, I was completely hooked. What do you think it means? She asked, gesturing to the painting, a chaotic mess of black and red swirls. Honestly, I think it means the artist spilled their paint, I replied, immediately regretting my attempt at humor, but she laughed. God, she had the most beautiful laugh. Finally, someone honest. I've been listening to people pretend to understand this stuff all night. We talked for hours that evening. She told me she was a freelance photographer, 26 years old, new to Chicago from Portland. She was passionate, intelligent, and had this way of making me feel like I was the only person in the room. By the end of the night, I had her number, and we had plans for dinner that weekend. The first few months were incredible. Vanessa was unlike anyone I'd ever dated. She was spontaneous. She'd show up at my apartment at midnight with takeout and a new documentary she wanted to watch. She was creative, always seeing beauty in things I'd walk past without noticing. She took photos constantly, including dozens of me, which I found flattering at the time. I want to capture every moment with you, she'd say. I never want to forget anything about us. I thought it was romantic. I introduced her to my family at Thanksgiving, just 2 months after we met. My mom, Patricia, was a typically warm and welcoming woman who'd raised me and my younger sister, Emma, mostly on her own after Dad died when I was 15. Emma was 24 at the time, finishing her master's degree in education, and she'd always been protective of me despite being the younger sibling. I remember the look Emma gave me when she first met Vanessa. It was brief, just a flicker of something in her eyes, but I caught it. Later, when Vanessa was in the bathroom, Emma pulled me aside. She's very intense, isn't she? Emma said carefully. She's passionate, I corrected, a bit defensive. Jake, I'm not trying to be a bitch, but she's barely let go of your hand all evening, and she's been staring daggers at Mom every time Mom talks to you. You're imagining things, Em. She's just nervous about meeting you guys. Emma didn't look convinced, but she dropped it. I wish now that I'd listened. Part 2. The cracks begin to show. The first real incident happened around the 6-month mark. I was at a work happy hour, nothing major, just drinks with my team to celebrate finishing a big project. I'd texted Vanessa earlier to let her know I'd be home late. Around 8 p.m., my phone started buzzing incessantly. Where are you? Why aren't you answering? Who are you with? Jake, this isn't funny. Answer ME. The messages came in rapid-fire succession, each one more frantic than the last. I excused myself and called her. Hey babe, I'm still at the work thing I told you about. You said you'd be done by 7. I said I'd be home by 7, but it's running a bit late. A bit late. It's been an hour, Jake. I've been sitting here worried sick. You could have been in an accident, you could have been hurt, and you couldn't take 2 seconds to text me. Vanessa, I'm sorry, I should have updated you. I'll be home in 30 minutes, okay? There was a long pause. When she spoke again, her voice was soft, tearful. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Jake. I worry about you. My ex, he used to lie about where he was, and I'd find out he was cheating, and I just got scared. I know you're not him. I'm sorry. My heart melted. It's okay. I understand. I'll see you soon, all right. I love you. I love you too. Hurry home? I did hurry home, feeling guilty for worrying her. When I got there, she'd cooked my favorite meal and was wearing lingerie under an apron. We had a great night, and I forgot all about the dozens of frantic texts, but it happened again and again. Anytime I was somewhere without her, the texts would start. If I was at the grocery store for more than 20 minutes, if I went to the gym, if I had a guy's night with Marcus. At first, she'd always apologize afterward, always with a story about her ex, about her trust issues, about how much she loved me and couldn't bear to lose me. I started making excuses to my friends for why I couldn't hang out. It was easier than dealing with the aftermath. Marcus noticed. "Dude, you're completely pussy-whipped," he said one day over lunch. "We used to grab lunch twice a week. Now it was once a month if I was lucky. When's the last time you did anything without getting her permission?" "It's not like that," I insisted. She's had a rough past. She needs reassurance." "Jake, that's not healthy, man. My girlfriend doesn't interrogate me if I'm 20 minutes late to something. You don't understand our relationship." Marcus held up his hands in surrender. "All right, man. I'm just saying from the outside, it looks concerning." I was annoyed at him for days after that. Looking back, Marcus was the only one brave enough to say what everyone was thinking. By month 9, Vanessa had moved into my apartment. I hadn't exactly invited her to move in, it just sort of happened. First, it was a few clothes in my closet, then a drawer, then half my closet, then her furniture was replacing mine because hers was better quality. Before I knew it, we were living together, and I couldn't remember actually making that decision. She wanted to know the password to my phone. "Couples shouldn't have secrets," she said. Reluctantly, I gave it to her. Within a week, she deleted the numbers of 3 female colleagues, including my project manager, Sarah. "Why would you need other women's numbers in your phone?" she asked when I confronted her about it. "Because I work with them, Vanessa. Sarah's my manager. I need her number. You can reach her through the company directory. There's no reason for it to be in your personal phone unless something else is going on." We fought about it, our first real fight. She cried, saying I clearly valued some random woman more than her feelings. I slept on the couch that night, feeling like somehow I was the one in the wrong, even though she'd invaded my privacy. The next morning, she apologized and said she'd add Sarah's number back. I accepted the apology, not realizing that this was a pattern that would repeat over and over. She'd cross a line, we'd fight, she'd cry and apologize, I'd forgive her, and the line would stay crossed. Part 3, Trapped. The real turning point came at the 1-year mark. Emma was getting engaged to her boyfriend, David, and the family was gathering at Mom's house for a celebration dinner. I was excited. I loved David, and Emma deserved all the happiness in the world. Vanessa didn't want to go. "It's a family thing," she said dismissively. "You should go alone." "You're part of the family now," I insisted. "Emma would want you there." Something dark flickered across her face. "Would she though? Your sister has never liked me, Jake. She's always looking down on me, judging me." "That's not true. It is true. You just don't see it because you worship her. Emma this, Emma that. Do you know how it makes me feel that you're closer to your sister than you are to me?" The argument escalated until I finally said I was going alone if she wouldn't come. She went silent, locking herself in the bedroom. I left for Mom's house, frustrated but determined to enjoy my sister's special day. The celebration was wonderful. Emma was glowing, David was nervous and sweet, and Mom cried happy tears. I felt lighter than I had in months, laughing and joking with my family. I didn't check my phone for 3 hours. That was a mistake. When I finally looked, there were over 100 texts and 30 missed calls from Vanessa. The texts started out sad, then angry, then desperate, then terrifying. "I can't do this anymore. You clearly don't love me. I took all the pills in the medicine cabinet. This is your fault. Tell my mom I'm sorry. Goodbye, Jake." My blood ran cold. I called her immediately, no answer. I called again and again. Finally, on the 5th try, she picked up, her voice weak and slurred. Vanessa, what did you take? Why do you care? You left me alone to be with your perfect family." "I'm calling 911. No, Jake, no, don't. I didn't take that much. I'm okay. I just wanted you to understand how much it hurts when you abandon me." I rushed home anyway. When I got there, she was lying on the couch, looking pale but coherent. I checked the medicine cabinet. Nothing seemed to be missing. I still insisted on taking her to the ER. The doctors couldn't find any drugs in her system beyond the anti-anxiety medication she was already prescribed. On the drive home from the hospital, I was shaking with anger and relief and confusion. "Did you actually take anything, or was this all for attention?" "How dare you," she whispered. "I was in a dark place, and instead of supporting me, you're accusing me of lying." "Vanessa, you can't do things like this. You scared me half to death, and you scared me by abandoning me on our anniversary to fawn over your sister. Our anniversary is in 3 weeks. It's the anniversary of our first kiss," she said, as if this were obvious. "But clearly that doesn't matter to you." I didn't know what to say to that. I was exhausted, emotionally drained. When we got home, she clung to me, crying and apologizing, begging me not to leave her. I held her, feeling trapped and confused and somehow guilty, even though I knew that what had happened wasn't normal or okay. I should have left that night. God, I should have left. Instead, I stayed, and things got worse. Vanessa quit her freelance work, saying she wanted to focus on us and building our future together. This meant she was home all the time. All the time. If I worked late, she'd show up at my office with dinner. If I went to the gym, she'd come too, even though she hated working out. My colleagues started giving me pitying looks. She had access to my location through my phone, and she checked it constantly. If I deviated from my normal route home from work, even by a block, she'd call asking where I was going. I felt like I couldn't breathe. The isolation was gradual but complete. Marcus stopped inviting me to things. My mom's calls became less frequent after Vanessa had snapped at her on the phone for always interrupting our time together. Emma tried to maintain contact, but Vanessa made it so difficult that eventually, the texts from my sister dwindled too. I was ashamed. Ashamed that I'd let this happen. Ashamed that I couldn't seem to get control of my own life. Ashamed to admit to anyone that my girlfriend terrified me, because that's what it had become, fear. I was afraid of her moods, her unpredictability, her reactions to everything I did or didn't do. Walking on eggshells doesn't even begin to describe it. It was like navigating a minefield blindfolded while someone screamed directions at you. Part 4, the breaking point. 2 years into the relationship, I finally admitted to myself that I needed to get out. The catalyst was small but significant. I came home from work to find Vanessa had redecorated the entire apartment, painted the walls, replaced furniture, everything, without asking me. "Surprise," she said, beaming. I wanted to make our space feel more like a real home. "Vanessa, you painted over the mural." The mural in question was one my dad had painted when I was a kid, on a piece of wood panel that I'd kept and hung in the living room. It was one of the few things I had left of him. It had been hanging there since I moved in 5 years ago. "It didn't match the new color scheme," she said dismissively. "Besides, it was kind of ugly. This is better, trust me." I felt something break inside me. "Where is it?" "Where's what?" "The panel." "The mural?" She shifted uncomfortably. "I threw it out. Jake, it was taking up space in storage, and I didn't hear the rest. I went to the dumpster behind our building and dug through trash for an hour, but it was gone. The trash had been collected that morning. A piece of my father, irreplaceable, was just gone. When I came back upstairs, covered in garbage and devastated, Vanessa rolled her eyes. "You're being dramatic. It was just a piece of wood. Get out." "What? Get out. I need you to leave, now." Her expression changed from annoyed to shocked to furious in seconds. "You're kicking me out over some old painting." "It wasn't some old painting, Vanessa. It was my dad's, and you threw it away without even asking me. You don't respect me. You don't respect my space, my family, my life. I want you to leave." What happened next still haunts me. Her face went completely blank, not sad, not angry, empty. When she spoke, her voice was calm and cold. "If you make me leave, Jake, you'll regret it. I promise you that." "Is that a threat?" "It's a fact. Everything I've done has been for us, because I love you more than anyone ever will. If you throw that away, if you throw me away, there will be consequences. I know everything about you. I know where your mother lives. I know Emma's routine, what time she leaves for work, where she goes on Friday nights. I know about your nephew, cute kid. By the way, I've seen him at the park." My blood turned to ice. Emma's son, Tyler, was 3 years old. The thought of Vanessa anywhere near him made me feel physically sick. "You stay away from my family." "Or what, Jake?" "What are you going to do? Call the police. Tell them what? That your girlfriend knows where your public school teacher sister works. That I've seen your nephew at a public park." She smiled, and it was the smile of a stranger. "You can't get rid of me. I won't let you. We're meant to be together, and if you can't see that now, you will eventually." She didn't leave that night. I didn't make her. I was too scared of what she might do. Instead, I retreated to the bedroom and locked the door, and I made a plan. Part 5. The escape plan. I started seeing a therapist in secret. Dr. Lisa Chen specialized in domestic abuse cases, and yes, she confirmed what I'd been afraid to admit. I was in an abusive relationship. Hearing her say it out loud was both validating and humiliating. "Abuse isn't just physical," Dr. Chen explained during one of our sessions. "What you're describing, the isolation, the surveillance, the threats, the control over your environment and relationships, this is serious psychological abuse. And the threats toward your family are particularly concerning." "But she's never actually hurt anyone," I said, still making excuses. "Jake, she's hurt you. Maybe not with her fists, but she's caused you significant harm, and the threat of violence toward your family members is abuse. The fact that she's tracking them, learning their routines, that's stalking behavior. This is escalating, and you need to take it seriously." Dr. Chen helped me create a safety plan. I started documenting everything: screenshots of texts, recordings of conversations. Illinois is a 2-party consent state, but I was willing to deal with that if it came to it. Photos of anything she destroyed or damaged. I opened a separate bank account she didn't know about and started siphoning small amounts of money into it. I reached out to Emma, finally, after months of minimal contact. We met for coffee at a place far from my neighborhood. When she saw me, her face crumpled. Jake, oh my God, you look terrible. What's happened to you? I tried to explain, and the words came pouring out, everything I'd been holding in for 2 years. Emma listened, her expression cycling through shock, anger, and fear. She threatened Tyler. Emma's voice shook. She threatened my son. I won't let her near him, Em, I swear. That's why I'm getting out. But I needed to warn you. You need to be careful. I don't know what she's capable of. Emma insisted we tell Mom and David immediately. We drove to Mom's house and I explained everything again. Mom cried, which made me feel like a complete failure. Why didn't you tell us sooner? She asked. I was ashamed, and I was afraid she'd do something if I reached out to you guys, She's been getting worse. David, who worked as a prosecutor, had practical advice. You need to document everything, which it sounds like you're doing. When you break up with her, do it in a public place or with someone present. Don't be alone with her. And the second she makes any concrete threat or shows up anywhere she shouldn't be, you call the police immediately. We'll get a restraining order if necessary. But she hasn't technically done anything illegal, I protested. She's made terroristic threats, Jake. Threatening to harm your family members is a crime. The problem is proving it and getting the police to take it seriously. That's why documentation is crucial. We came up with a plan. I would break up with Vanessa in a public coffee shop. Marcus agreed to be at a nearby table as backup. I would have already moved my important documents and valuables to Mom's house. I would change my locks immediately after, change my passwords to everything, and stay with Mom for a few days until things cooled down. It seemed like a solid plan. I felt prepared. I wasn't. Part 6. The breakup. I chose a Saturday morning at a busy Starbucks in the Loop. Public, lots of witnesses, security cameras. Vanessa thought we were meeting for a nice breakfast before doing some shopping. She was in a good mood when she arrived, which made what I was about to do even harder. Hey babe, she leaned in to kiss me, but I pulled back slightly. Her smile faltered. What's wrong? Vanessa, we need to talk. Something in my tone made her go still. Okay, this isn't working, our relationship. It hasn't been working for a long time and I think you know that. What are you talking about? Everything's fine. It's not fine. You're controlling, you've isolated me from everyone I care about, you've destroyed my property, and you've made threats against my family. This is over. I want you out of my apartment by tonight. Her face went through a series of expressions: confusion, hurt, anger, calculation. When she spoke, her voice was sweet, cajoling. Jake, honey, I think you're having some kind of episode. You're stressed from work and don't do that. I'm thinking clearly for the first time in years. We're done. The sweetness evaporated. You can't just throw me out. That's my home too. It's my apartment. My name is on the lease. I've already arranged for your things to be packed and put in storage. Here's the key to the storage unit. I slid a key across the table. She didn't take it. Instead, she leaned forward, her green eyes intense. Jake, if you do this, you will destroy me. I have nothing without you. Do you understand? Nothing. I'll have nowhere to go, no one to turn to. Is that what you want? To leave me homeless and alone? You can go to your sister's in Portland. You have options. My sister and I don't speak, you know that. You're all I have. Guilt clawed at me, but I pushed it down. This was manipulation. Dr. Chen had warned me about this. I'm sorry, but my decision is final. Her eyes welled with tears. Please, please, Jake, don't do this. I love you. I know I've made mistakes, but I can change. We can go to counseling together, please. For a moment, I wavered. She looked so broken, so vulnerable. Then I remembered the fear, the constant anxiety, the way my life had shrunk to nothing. I'm sorry, I repeated. The tears stopped, just like that, like turning off a faucet. Her face went blank again, that terrifying emptiness I'd seen before. You're making the biggest mistake of your life, she said quietly. I gave you everything. I devoted myself to you completely, and this is how you repay me. Vanessa, no, she stood up. I'm not going to beg anymore, but you need to understand something, Jake. You don't get to just discard me. I'm not trash, and actions have consequences. Are you threatening me? She laughed, a harsh sound. I don't need to threaten you. You'll see soon enough what life is like without me. And when everything falls apart, when you realize what you've lost, don't come crawling back. She walked out, leaving me shaking at the table. Marcus came over from where he'd been sitting. Jesus, man, she's even scarier than you described. It's done, I said, mostly to convince myself. It's finally done. Part 7. The aftermath begins. I changed the locks that afternoon. I blocked Vanessa on everything: phone, email, social media. I felt like a weight had been lifted, like I could breathe for the first time in years. That lasted about 6 hours. At midnight, she started calling from different numbers. When I didn't answer, the voicemails started. At first, they were sad, begging me to reconsider, then angry, calling me every name imaginable, then apologetic again, then threatening. You think you can just erase me from your life? I'll make sure you never forget me. Your family is going to suffer because of your selfishness. I hope you're happy. You've ruined everything. I saved all of them and forwarded them to David. This is good, he said. Keep documenting. Don't respond, don't engage. The next day was Sunday. I was at Mom's house with Emma and her family, trying to relax and feel normal. Tyler was playing with his toys, oblivious to the tension the adults were feeling. Then Emma's phone buzzed. Then Mom's. Then mine, even though I'd blocked her. Vanessa had created a Facebook post, a long, detailed, completely fabricated story about how I'd abused her throughout our relationship, how I'd hit her, isolated her, controlled her money, threatened to kill her if she left. It was everything she had done to me, projected onto me. And she'd tagged my employer, my colleagues, my entire family, and all of our mutual friends. Oh my God, Emma breathed, reading her phone. Jake, she's saying you. That's you. My phone was blowing up. Colleagues, old friends, people I hadn't talked to in years, all messaging me. Some were supportive, asking if the allegations were true and offering help. Others were accusatory. My boss called, saying I needed to come in for a meeting first thing Monday morning. This is defamation, David said firmly. Screenshot everything. We can sue her for this. But the damage was done. Even if I sued her, even if I won, the accusation was out there. Some people would always believe it. That night, I barely slept. Every sound made me jump. I kept checking the locks, the windows. Mom had a security system, which helped, but I felt hunted. Monday morning, I had to face my boss, Linda. She was sympathetic but concerned. Jake, I want to believe you, and your work has always been exemplary. But we have to take accusations like this seriously. HR wants to do an investigation. I understand. I have documentation, texts, recordings, witnesses that prove she's the one who was abusive. My family will corroborate everything. The investigation took 2 weeks. 2 weeks of walking into the office and feeling like everyone was staring at me, judging me. 2 weeks of whispered conversations that stopped when I walked by. Vanessa had poisoned my professional reputation with a single post. Eventually, HR concluded that there was no evidence to support her claims and significant evidence of her harassment toward me. I was cleared, but the atmosphere at work never fully recovered. Some people believed me, others didn't. That's the thing about accusations. They stick, even when disproven. But the Facebook post was just the beginning. Vanessa was just getting started. Part 8, Escalation. She started showing up places. At first, it seemed coincidental. I'd see her at the grocery store, at the coffee shop near work. She'd just stare at me, not approaching, just watching. It was unnerving. Then she started appearing at places she shouldn't know about. A restaurant I'd made a reservation at. The movie theater where Emma and I had plans. The park where David took Tyler on Tuesday afternoons. That last one prompted us to file for a restraining order. David helped me compile all the evidence, the threatening voicemails, the defamatory post, the stalking behavior, everything. We went before a judge on a Thursday afternoon. Vanessa showed up to contest it. She'd cleaned up nicely, looked vulnerable and sad, and told a completely different story, that I was the one harassing her, that I couldn't accept the breakup, that she was afraid of me. Thankfully, the evidence spoke for itself. The judge granted a temporary restraining order, requiring Vanessa to stay at least 500 feet away from me, my family members, my home, and my workplace. This doesn't mean she'll stop, David warned me. It just means if she violates it, the police can arrest her. But you have to actually call the police, and they have to actually respond. He was right to be cautious. The restraining order seemed to enrage her rather than deter her. That weekend, I woke up at Mom's house to find my car covered in spray paint. Liar, abuser, and you'll pay were scrawled across it in red. The security camera had been spray painted over, so we had no footage of who did it, but I knew. I called the police. They filed a report and said they'd look into it, but without video evidence proving it was Vanessa, there wasn't much they could do. 2 days later, Emma's car had its tires slashed. Again, no cameras caught it. Then the emails started, sent from burner accounts, impossible to trace definitively to Vanessa, but clearly from her. They went to my colleagues, my boss, my extended family. Each email contained more lies about me, sometimes with poorly photoshopped evidence. My mom's garden was vandalized, plants ripped up and thrown across the yard. A brick was thrown through Emma's window in the middle of the night, narrowly missing Tyler's room. Each incident had no witnesses, no definitive proof, but a clear pattern. Why isn't she being arrested? I demanded of the police officer taking the report about Emma's window. She has a restraining order, and she's clearly violating it. Sir, we understand your frustration, but we need evidence that it's actually her committing these acts. The restraining order means she can't come near you or your family. These incidents are happening at your properties when you're not present, and we have no video or witness confirmation that it's her. Who else would it be? We're investigating all possibilities. It was maddening. Vanessa was smart enough to avoid cameras, to strike when no one was watching, to maintain plausible deniability. The psychological toll was immense. I couldn't focus at work. I was constantly anxious, waiting for the next incident. My family was suffering because of my relationship choices. Emma and David were considering moving because they didn't feel safe. Tyler had nightmares about the bad lady. This has to stop, Emma said after the window incident. Jake, she's escalating. What's she going to do next? I didn't have an answer, doctor. Chen suggested I might need to relocate, change my identity, start over somewhere Vanessa couldn't find me. But why should I have to uproot my entire life? Why should my family suffer? Why did she get to win? Part 9, The Threat. 3 months after the breakup, things had been quiet for 2 weeks. No incidents, no sightings, no emails. I was just starting to hope that maybe, finally, Vanessa had moved on or at least gotten bored with her campaign of terror. Then I got the package. It arrived at work, addressed to me, no return address. Inside was a photo album. My hands shook as I opened it. Photos of my mom, taken from outside her house. Photos of Emma and Tyler at the park, at school drop-off, at the grocery store. Photos of me at work, at the gym, everywhere I'd been in the past 3 months. Hundreds of photos, organized meticulously, with dates and times written beneath each one. And on the last page, a note in Vanessa's handwriting. You can't hide from me. You can't protect them. Everything you love can be taken away in an instant. One car accident. One moment of inattention at the park. One fire in the middle of the night. Are you willing to risk them just because you're too proud to admit we belong together? This is your last chance, Jake. Come back to me or face the consequences. I couldn't breathe, my vision tunneled. This wasn't just harassment anymore. This was a direct threat to my family's lives. I called David immediately. He came to my office, looked at the package, and his face went pale. We're going to the police right now. This is a terroristic threat. This is evidence. They have to take this seriously. We went to the police station. We filed a report. The detective who took our statement, a weathered woman named Detective Sarah Morrison, actually seemed to care. This is serious, she agreed. We'll investigate. In the meantime, I'd suggest your family members vary their routines, maybe stay with friends or family for a while. Install security cameras everywhere. Don't go anywhere alone. Can you arrest her? I asked desperately. We can bring her in for questioning based on this threat, but the problem is if she's smart, and it sounds like she is, she'll deny sending it. Without witnesses or video of her mailing it, a good lawyer could argue that anyone could have sent this. It's your word against hers. So she just gets away with it. I didn't say that. We'll investigate. We'll question her. We'll get handwriting analysis done on the note. We'll pull surveillance from post offices, see if we can catch her mailing it. But these things take time, and in the meantime, you need to keep yourselves safe. That night, we had a family meeting. Me, Mom, Emma, David, and even David's parents, who Tyler would be staying with for a while. We decided Emma and David would stay with David's parents too. Mom would stay with her sister in Wisconsin for a few weeks. I didn't know what I would do. You could come to Wisconsin too, Mom offered. No, I'm not running anymore. She's taken enough from me. I'll stay with Marcus, vary my routine, but I'm not leaving Chicago. Jake, Emma started. Emma, I know you think I'm being stubborn, and maybe I am, but if I run, she wins. She's pushed me out of my own apartment, damaged my career, and now she's driving you all away. I have to stand my ground somewhere. Marcus, bless him, didn't hesitate when I asked to crash at his place. Stay as long as you need, man. We'll keep each other safe. The police brought Vanessa in for questioning 2 days later. Detective Morrison called me afterward. She denied everything. Said she hasn't contacted you since the breakup, that you're harassing her, that you probably sent the package to yourself to frame her. She's claiming she's the victim in all of this. That's insane, I know, and for what it's worth, I believe you. I've seen cases like this before, but belief isn't proof. The handwriting analysis is inconclusive. She claims she's never written you notes, so we have nothing to compare it to. The post office cameras didn't catch anything useful. Without more concrete evidence, the DA doesn't think we can make charges stick. I wanted to scream. So what am I supposed to do? Just wait for her to actually hurt someone. Keep documenting, keep recording. If she contacts you, if she shows up anywhere, call 911 immediately. And Jake, watch your back. If she's as obsessed as I think she is, she's not going to just give up. Part 10. The confrontation living at Marcus's place helped. Having someone else around made me feel safer, less alone. Marcus worked from home, so there was usually someone there. We installed extra locks, a security camera at the door, and we both varied our schedules. For a month, things were quiet again. I started to relax slightly, thinking maybe the police questioning had scared Vanessa off. Then Marcus called me at work, his voice shaking. "Jake, you need to come home now, don't come alone." I grabbed my colleague Jeff and rushed to Marcus's apartment, my heart pounding. When we got there, police were already present. Marcus met me at the door, pale. She was inside, man. I came home from getting coffee, and she was sitting on the couch, waiting. My blood ran cold. "Did she hurt you?" "No, but Jake, she's completely delusional. She was talking about you like you were still together, like she was your girlfriend checking out your new place. She'd made lunch for Christ's sake. When I told her she needed to leave, she acted confused, like I was being rude. Then when I said I was calling the police, she threatened me. What did she say? She said that anyone who helps you is her enemy and she deals with her enemies. Then she just left, walked out like nothing happened. The police took statements from both of us. Breaking and entering, trespassing, violating the restraining order, finally concrete charges. Detective Morrison seemed energized. "This is good. We have a witness besides you. We have her in the apartment, which she had no legal right to access. We can arrest her now." They found Vanessa at a hotel in Schaumburg. She didn't resist arrest, didn't seem fazed at all. According to Detective Morrison, she was calm, almost cheerful. "She's acting like this is all a misunderstanding that will get cleared up," Morrison told me after the arrest. "She's either a sociopath or she's having a complete break with reality." Vanessa was held overnight and arraigned the next morning. David attended the hearing and called me immediately after. The judge set bail at $50,000. She made bail, Jake. What, how? I don't know. She must have family money or someone helping her. But there are conditions. She has to surrender her passport, she can't leave the state, and the restraining order is reinforced with threat of immediate incarceration if violated. Plus, she has a court date for the charges in 6 weeks. So she's just out there free, for now. But Jake, she's facing real charges this time. Breaking and entering, stalking, violating a restraining order. Her lawyer will probably try to plead it down, but with her pattern of behavior, the DA is pushing for jail time. I should have felt relieved. Finally, consequences, but all I felt was dread. Vanessa was cornered now, facing real legal trouble, and cornered animals were the most dangerous. Part 11, the final threat. I stayed vigilant. We all did. Security cameras everywhere, constant check-ins with each other, varying routines. Emma and Tyler stayed with David's parents. Mom remained in Wisconsin. I alternated between Marcus's place and a hotel, never following a pattern. 2 weeks after her arrest, I received a letter. It came to my work, marked personal and confidential. Inside was a single page, typed no signature. "You've destroyed my life, Jake. I've lost everything because of you. My reputation, my home, my freedom. I'm facing jail time. Did you know that? They want to put me in a cage like an animal, all because I loved you too much. I've been thinking a lot about fairness. About justice. If my life is over, why should yours continue? Why should you get to move on, be happy, be with your perfect family while I rot? You took everything from me. It's only fair that I return the favor. Your mother looks peaceful when she's sleeping. I watched her last night through the window of your aunt's house in Wisconsin. She really should invest in better curtains. Emma holds Tyler's hand so carefully when crossing the street, but children are so unpredictable. They dart into traffic so quickly. Accidents happen. And you, Jake. You think you're safe because you keep moving around, but I'm always watching. I'm always there, you just don't see me. This isn't a threat, it's a promise. You have one option left: drop all charges, tell everyone you lied, convince them to leave me alone. And come back to me, be mine again. We can leave Chicago, start over somewhere new, be happy like we were in the beginning, or don't, and watch everyone you love suffer. The choice is yours, and you have 48 hours to decide. I'll be watching for your answer." My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold the paper. I immediately called Detective Morrison, David, and then my mom. "Mom, you need to get out of Aunt Carol's house. Now, take Aunt Carol with you. Go to a hotel, don't tell anyone which one except David. Vanessa knows where you are. Jake, slow down. Mom, please, just do it. I'll explain later." I called Emma next. "Emma, you can't go outside with Tyler. Keep him inside. Don't let him out of your sight. Jake, you're scaring me." "Good, be scared, be careful." Vanessa sent another letter. "She's threatening all of you specifically." Detective Morrison took the letter as evidence. "This is a clear, direct terroristic threat, combined with her showing up in Wisconsin. Wait, can we prove she was in Wisconsin? We'll check traffic cameras, hotel records, anything we can find. and we'll bring her in again, revoke her bail. Judge won't like that she's violated her release conditions. But when the police went to arrest Vanessa, she was gone. The hotel she'd been staying at said she'd checked out. She wasn't at her sister's in Portland. She'd turned off her phone. She'd vanished. An APB was put out. Vanessa Reeves, wanted for stalking, terroristic threats, violating bail conditions. Her photo was sent to police departments across Illinois and neighboring states, but she was in the wind. And we were sitting ducks. Part 12. The siege, the 48-hour deadline in the letter came and went. Every second that passed, I expected something terrible to happen, but there was nothing. No sign of Vanessa, no new incidents. The silence was somehow worse than the threats. David hired private security to watch over his parents' house where Emma and Tyler were staying. Mom and Aunt Carol were in a hotel under false names, with instructions to stay inside. Marcus's apartment had so many security measures it was practically a fortress. I couldn't work, I couldn't sleep. I was a wreck and I could see the toll this was taking on everyone I loved. Emma had lost weight and had dark circles under her eyes. Mom sounded fragile every time we talked. Even Marcus was getting twitchy. "This can't go on forever," Marcus said one night as we sat watching the security camera feeds. "You know that, right? We can't live like this." "I know, but what am I supposed to do? She's out there somewhere, planning God knows what. Maybe you should consider what she wants." I stared at him. "You're joking. Hear me out. I'm not saying actually get back together with her, but what if you pretended to, reached out, said you made a mistake, arranged to meet her somewhere? And then the cops grab her, use myself as bait. It might be the only way to end this." I hated the idea, but he had a point. I ran it by Detective Morrison. "It's risky," she said. "If she suspects it's a trap, she could disappear for good, or she could hurt you before we can intervene. But I'll be honest, Jake, we're not finding her on our own. She's too careful. If you're willing to do this, we can set up a controlled meet with plainclothes officers nearby, but you'd be taking a real risk." I thought about Tyler's nightmares, Emma's fear, Mom's exile from her own home, my life reduced to hiding and waiting for the next attack. "Let's do it." We set up a plan. I would send Vanessa an email from a new account, saying I realized I'd made a mistake, that the police had pressured me into pressing charges, that I wanted to work things out. I'd suggest meeting at a public park, Millennium Park, lots of open space, lots of witnesses, easy for police to secure. It took 2 days for Vanessa to respond. When she did, her email was cheerful, loving, as if the past months of terror had never happened. "I knew you'd come back to me, Jake. I knew you'd realize we're meant to be together. Yes, let's meet, but not Millennium Park, too public, too many bad memories. There's a forest preserve in Schaumburg we used to walk in, remember? Let's meet there, by the creek. Just us like old times, tomorrow at 3 p.m. Come alone and come ready to really talk about our future. I love you so much. Always have, always will." Detective Morrison frowned at the location change. Forest preserve is harder to secure. Lots of cover, multiple exit routes. She might have chosen it specifically because it's harder for us to control. If I suggest somewhere else, she'll know something's up. "I know. Okay, we'll make it work. We'll have officers hidden throughout the preserve in plainclothes. You'll wear a wire. The second you give the signal or we sense danger, we move in. Do not go near her. Do not let her touch you. Stay in open sight at all times." That night, I called my family to tell them the plan. "Absolutely not," Emma said immediately. "Jake, she's insane. She could have a weapon. She could kill you before the police can react. This might be our only shot at ending this. I can't live like this anymore. None of us can. Then let the police find another way." "There is no other way. She's too smart, too careful. This has to end." Mom was crying. "Jake, I can't lose you. You're my son. Please don't do this." "Mom, I love you. And that's exactly why I have to do this, to keep you safe. To keep all of you safe." We talked for over an hour. In the end, they understood, even if they hated it. Emma made me promise to be careful. Mom made me promise to come back to her. I promised, hoping desperately that it wasn't a lie. Part 13, the meeting. The day of the meeting, I barely held it together. The wire technician fitted me with a small microphone, tested it multiple times. Detective Morrison went over the plan again and again. "You get her to confess, ideally. Get her talking about the threats, the stalking, everything. But your safety is the priority. If anything feels wrong, you give the signal, take off your baseball cap, and we come in immediately." I arrived at the forest preserve at 2:45 p.m. The parking lot was nearly empty, just my car and one other vehicle. Officers were hidden throughout the woods, but I couldn't see them. That was the point, but it made me feel horribly alone. I walked the familiar trail to the creek. Vanessa and I had come here a few times early in our relationship. It had seemed romantic then. Now it just seemed isolated and dangerous. She was already there, standing by the water, her back to me. When she heard my footsteps, she turned and her face lit up with genuine joy. "Jake, you came." She moved toward me, arms outstretched for a hug. I stepped back. "Vanessa, wait, we need to talk first." Her arms lowered, hurt flashing across her face. "Of course." "I'm sorry, I'm just so happy to see you. I've missed you so much. I've been thinking a lot about everything that's happened," I said, trying to follow the script Detective Morrison and I had worked out. "It's been intense. It has been. But it's all been worth it, right? Because we're here now, together." "Vanessa, why did you send me that letter? The one threatening my family? I had to get your attention somehow. You were ignoring me, keeping us apart. I needed you to understand how serious I am about us. So you threatened to hurt my nephew, my mother." She waved a hand dismissively. "I wasn't really going to hurt them, Jake. I was just making a point. Actions have consequences. You kept pushing me away, and I needed you to see what life would be like without me. And breaking into Marcus's apartment, I needed to see where you were living. I needed to make sure you were okay. And honestly, I don't trust Marcus. He's always had a thing for you, trying to turn you against me." She was completely delusional, rationalizing everything. I could see it in her eyes. She truly believed what she was saying. "What about the Facebook post, telling everyone I abused you?" Her expression hardened. "You did abuse me, Jake. Maybe not with your fists, but abandoning someone who loves you, who's devoted their entire life to you. That's abuse. I was trying to make you understand how much you hurt me." "Vanessa, everything you're describing, the isolation, the control, the threats, that's what you did to me. That's love, Jake. That's commitment. I don't understand why you can't see that. Everything I did was because I love you more than anyone ever has or ever will." I felt a chill run down my spine. She wasn't going to suddenly see reason. She wasn't going to confess to crimes and show remorse. In her mind, she was the victim, the devoted lover, and I was the one causing problems. "I need to know you won't hurt my family," I said, changing tactics. "If we're going to try to work this out, I need that promise from you. Of course, I would never hurt them if we're together. There'd be no need. We can start fresh, Jake. Leave Chicago, like I said in my letter. Go somewhere new. Maybe Portland or Seattle or even out of the country. Just you and me building a new life. What about the charges? The police are looking for you. You're going to drop those charges. You'll tell them you made a mistake, that you were confused. They'll believe you. And if I don't," the warmth vanished from her face. "Then we're back to consequences, Jake. I told you you took everything from me. I'll take everything from you. Emma's little boy is so precious. It would be a shame if something happened to him. Are you threatening my nephew right now? I'm explaining reality. You have choices to make. Come with me willingly, drop the charges, and everyone stays safe. Or refuse and face the consequences." I'd heard enough. I reached up to take off my cap, the signal, but before I could, Vanessa lunged forward with startling speed. I felt a sharp pain in my side and looked down to see a knife in her hand, now covered in blood. My blood. "You're wearing a wire," she hissed. "Did you think I wouldn't check for cameras? For police? I saw them, Jake. I've been watching for an hour. Did you think you could trap me?" I stumbled backward, hand pressed to my side. The pain was incredible, radiating through my entire body. "Vanessa, stop. You chose this." She screamed. "I gave you every chance, every opportunity to do the right thing, and you tried to trap me like some kind of criminal." She raised the knife again, and I knew with absolute clarity that she was going to kill me. This was it. After everything, it ended here, in the woods where we'd once walked hand in hand. Then there was a gunshot. Vanessa jerked and fell, the knife clattering from her hand. Police swarmed from the trees, Detective Morrison, uniformed officers, all running toward us. "Officer-involved shooting. Subject down. We need medical now." Someone was putting pressure on my wound, asking me questions I couldn't focus on. I watched as paramedics worked on Vanessa a few feet away. She was still alive, conscious, staring at me with those green eyes full of hatred and betrayal. "You shot me," she said, sounding surprised. "You actually shot me. Ma'am, don't move. You're seriously injured. I did this for us, Jake. For love. Why couldn't you just love me back?" Then her eyes fluttered closed, and the paramedics were loading her onto a stretcher, shouting medical jargon I didn't understand. I was loaded onto a different stretcher. Detective Morrison's face appeared above me. "You did good, Jake. You got her confession on tape. She's going away for a long time. Is she going to die? I don't know." The shot hit her shoulder, but she's losing blood. Either way, she's in custody. It's over. Over. The word echoed in my mind as they loaded me into the ambulance. It was really, finally over. Epilogue. 6 months later, the knife wound required surgery but wasn't life-threatening. Vanessa's gunshot wound was more serious, but she survived. She's currently in a psychiatric facility, awaiting trial. The doctors diagnosed her with a severe delusional disorder and borderline personality disorder. Her lawyer is arguing for an insanity plea. I don't care what happens legally, as long as she's locked up somewhere she can't hurt anyone. The recording from The Wire gave prosecutors everything they needed: her confession, her threats, her complete lack of remorse. Combined with all the documented evidence from the past months, the case against her is airtight. David says even with an insanity plea, she'll be institutionalized for years, possibly decades. My family has slowly returned to normal. Emma, David, and Tyler moved into a new house with an excellent security system. Tyler's nightmares have mostly stopped, though Emma says he's still wary of strangers. Mom came back from Wisconsin and has started gardening again, though she installed motion sensor lights all around her house. Marcus and I are still close, though I moved into my own place, a new apartment in a different neighborhood, with my name unlisted, my location kept private. I'm still working through everything with Dr. Chen. She says I have PTSD from the relationship and the attack, which I'm managing with therapy and medication. I've started dating again, though it's hard. I'm hyper-aware of red flags now, almost to a fault. Any sign of possessiveness or jealousy and I'm out. Doctor Chen says that's normal, a protective response, and that with time I'll be able to trust again. Some days are better than others. Some days I can go hours without thinking about Vanessa, without checking over my shoulder, without jumping at unexpected sounds. Other days I'm right back in that forest preserve, feeling the knife slide into my side, seeing the hatred in her eyes. But I survived. My family survived. And we're rebuilding slowly but surely. I've learned some hard lessons through all of this. Trust your instincts. When Emma and Marcus tried to warn me early on, I dismissed them. I ignored the red flags because I was infatuated, because I wanted to believe the best. Now I know, when people who love you express concern, listen. Abuse doesn't always look like what you expect. I never thought of myself as an abuse victim because Vanessa never hit me until the end. But the control, the isolation, the psychological manipulation, that was all abuse, and it was devastating. Get help early. I waited far too long to reach out for help, to tell my family what was happening, to see a therapist. By the time I did, the situation was already critical. If you're in an abusive relationship, don't wait. Reach out. People want to help. Document everything. The evidence I gathered was crucial to building the case against Vanessa. Screenshots, recordings, saved messages, all of it mattered. Take threats seriously. When someone threatens you or your loved ones, believe them. Don't rationalize, don't minimize. Act. I'm sharing my story because I know I'm not alone. Statistically, men are victims of intimate partner abuse far more often than most people realize, and we're often dismissed or not taken seriously. If my story helps even one person recognize their situation and get out earlier than I did, it's worth the embarrassment and pain of sharing it. To anyone reading this who sees themselves in my story, it's not your fault. You don't deserve to be controlled, manipulated, or threatened. You deserve to feel safe, to have autonomy, to maintain relationships with people you love, and there is help available. Reach out to domestic violence resources, talk to a therapist, confide in trusted friends or family, make a safety plan, document the abuse, and when you're ready and it's safe to do so, get out. It won't be easy. For me, it almost cost me my life. But it was worth it, because now, for the first time in years, I'm free. I can breathe. I can make my own choices. I can live without fear. The scars remain physical and psychological, but I'm healing. We're all healing. And Vanessa, she's locked up getting the psychiatric help she desperately needs, and she can't hurt me or my family anymore. It's really, finally over. I'm Jake, and I survived my psychotic ex. If you're in a similar situation, you can survive too. Don't give up. Don't lose hope. And don't suffer in silence. There's life after abuse. I'm living proof.